So here we go. So we are talking about e-commerce and getting started with e-commerce. I think, as a result of what's been going on in the past couple of years, I think people now are getting more in tune with, online. So I think COVID-19, I think the impact of that has kind of transformed e-commerce, where it's now become even more of a necessity. Whereas people were more of a brick and mortar type operation that maybe dabbled a little bit in e-commerce, are now discovering that they need to really get their business online and to be able to conduct transactions online. So COVID has really kind of pushed us in that direction. So 67% of consumers report that they shop differently now because of COVID. So it has changed our buying, the way we purchase things. I know for myself, I've been working from home now since it will be almost 2 years, right? March 2020. So it's been 2 years and I'm working from home every day. And I have to say, I probably order off of Amazon at least 3 times a week, at least. And what's crazy about it is, all of a sudden, I need a pair of shoelaces. So I don't think traditionally, well, I should wait till I need a couple of other things. Then I'll go to the store and then I can pick up other things. It doesn't make sense to just go buy shoelaces. But with Amazon, you go on, you buy shoelaces, you just buy them and you get free shipping. And then, a day or two later, they're here. So I have a steady stream of visitors coming in my house every day, delivering, Amazon, stuff. I have stuff on, repeat orders, like subscriptions, like the dog food and everything else. And it's just kind of even food items, like certain items now I'm buying and things like that. I'm using Amazon. So COVID has changed the way we are shopping, that's for sure. So 20 to 30% of businesses kind of moved online during the pandemic as a matter of necessity. They had to even think about restaurants, right? They enabled now ordering, you could use a Google menu and things like that. And you could order online and then pick up at the curb, back when the pandemic was at its height. So even brick and mortar establishments like a restaurant embraced an e-commerce model to order food for pickup or even delivery, right? So even delivery. So, COVID has changed all that. One of the byproducts of this, kind of transition going to more of an online model is, you get loyalty is, consumer loyalty is less. People are not loyal. They shop when they're buying online, they tend to shop more price, right? Because they can very easily compare pricing. Okay. So a lot of times, because you're buying online and things like that, you may buy a brand that that you normally wouldn't, because there are so many options available to you. Whereas if you go into a regular store, you might be limited by the number of brands for a specific product. So consumer loyalty is lower. So that's the bad news, right? Okay. The good news is consumer loyalty is low. So that means they could come to you. Right. So that could be a good thing. You can make that work for yourself. So that's something to keep in mind. So a big thing now that's coming up now is social commerce, right? So that's selling your products via a social media marketplace like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, right? These social media options give you the ability, and in some cases you can make the purchase right on the platform. Like Instagram, you can check out and just do the whole transaction right on Instagram. So right now it's only about 3.5% of total e-commerce sales, but that it will continue to rise. And the big driver of this kind of social commerce are the younger millennials and Gen Zers, right? They're the ones that are on social media and they might research a product or see a product, TikTok or something like that, and then buy as a result. So I just kind of covered that. The majority of millennials and Gen Zers think that these platforms are a better place to learn about products, right? So So one of the things as a marketer that is a challenge for my clients is, how do you attribute like a sale, or how do you attribute what we call a conversion, like a high priority task? A conversion could be someone clicks on an ad and goes to your website, or someone calls, or someone fills out a form on your website, or someone makes a purchase, right? So it becomes very difficult, and we have what's called first and last touch attribution. So someone might see or learn about your product on Instagram, but they may buy it on Amazon, right? Or they may do a Google search and go directly to your website and buy it. So Instagram was part of that touch point. And there are ways you can measure these kinds of first and last touch attributions. It's a little bit difficult, but you can do that. And what really makes it challenging in some cases are the buying cycles for individual businesses. So for example, if you're selling sneakers, well, the buying cycle is pretty quick. Someone may research a sneaker and then come back and buy it, but for the most part, they're going to go on, they're going to purchase it. If you're selling like an online course, a training course, or in my case, I'm selling marketing services, that sales cycle is much longer, right? So people may come back to your website a few times before they're actually ready to purchase a white paper or download a software or something like that. So it's important to understand your customers' buying cycles as well. So they're saying 95% of purchases will occur online by 2040. Okay, NASDAQ is predicting that. That seems like an awful big number, but I guess when you consider how much is going through Amazon right now and how big Amazon is, you can certainly see. Right in my town here in West Hampton, they just built a 100,000 square foot Amazon facility. They call it last mile delivery. So they built it at the Grabetsky Airport here in West Hampton. The planes aren't flying in, but what they do is all the trucks for the Eastern Long Island will go in there, and they'll pick up for those last couple of miles of delivery out on the East End. So they're building these big warehouses all over Long Island, and they're actually starting to set up physical brick and mortar locations. Well, they own Whole Foods, so they actually do have a brick and mortar location. But they're also opening up other things like pop-up bookstores or other types of things like that. So, so 51% of shoppers will conduct a purchase via a smartphone. Now, that might be they might do some product research on their smartphone. They might look at reviews and do things like that. But that's an important thing you need to keep in mind, is that many of your sales might result coming from a mobile phone. So you need to keep that in mind in how you present yourself on e-commerce and things like that, that you have to be able to address the needs of a mobile user and things like that. So it should be mobile friendly and things like that. So here's just a chart that just talks about mobile commerce sales, sales over a mobile phone, and how it's exploded just in the last few years. And look, I think a big part of that too is, the pandemic, probably had a big factor on that as well. But more and more people do everything on their mobile, right? I read an interesting statistic that your smartphone has more computing power than the computers that sent the Apollo 11 to the moon. That's pretty amazing. Like what you have in your hand, that smartphone, what it's able to do, and people are relying on it more and more for shopping. Like I have the Amazon app on my smartphone, and we'll be walking around, be out in the backyard and say, oh, I need another package of lawn steaks, to steak my tomatoes or something. Well, right there, right Amazon, right on the phone, order it, one click order, done. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So we all know what's going on with department stores, right? The brick and mortar. I wouldn't want to be investing in malls right now. It's kind of sad, right? I mean, it's kind of sad what you see what's happening. I think I just read last week that the Massapequa Mall, I don't think that's the name of it, but it's that mall in Massapequa. They're not renewing any of their big retailer tenants. Like they're not renewing them. So they, now they have to figure out what do they do with all this retail space. And that's what a lot of these ones are. So you're probably going to see mixed use development. You'll probably see malls, turn into, condos, with boutiques in it or something, or office space and shops and things like that. I think you'll probably start to see, like more mixed use for that. I mean, there are 4 Kmarts left in the country. I don't know if anyone realizes that. There are 4. I think 2 are in Jersey and I think 2 are in Long Island, but the one I went to in Long Island is in Bridgehampton. Okay. We were just in there a few weeks ago. We stopped by, and that's a little bit different because there are no big department stores out in the Hamptons. So a lot of people would go in there and buy their goods. But we went into Kmart, and it was first of all, it was like a ghost town. And, it had sections that were completely closed off. And when we were at the register, I said, "Are you guys closing up?" And she said, "Well, no, we have like 5 more years on our lease or whatever. We have a favorable lease." And she was telling me the story that there's only 4 left. And at that time, when we were in that Kmart, there were only 2 employees in the whole store. It was her running the register and someone else in the whole Kmart. Think about that. Think about when we were kids, the department stores. When I was a kid in Patchogue, we had Sweezy's. Right, Sweezy's department store. Right, Christmas time, you went there. They gift wrapping, and it was a hub of activity, and it was everyone was there and stuff like that. That's all going away. It's like it's kind of weird, and sad, but you can't beat the convenience of ordering something right from your couch. Right? So we're going through a lot right now, and New York City is going to have to really figure out what they're doing because they don't even need the office space anymore. So office space and retail space. So you're going to start to see things like entertainment things like casinos. I bet are going to start coming into New York City and different things like that, right? Amusement type things and stuff. But it's really unbelievable, the transformation. And I think COVID just kind of sped that up. I mean, just think about how we're even conducting this right now, how we're having this workshop. 2 years ago, we didn't even know you could really do this, like per se, right? And now Zoom and Microsoft Teams and Google Meets and all, like we use them every day. It's just amazing. And that's necessity has driven us to this point. So 12 to 24 million people, there are 12 to 24 million e-commerce sites worldwide. That's a lot of e-commerce sites. I mean, when you think about how big of a player Amazon is or Walmart, there are still a lot of these, and a lot of these individual e-commerce sites tend to be a little bit more niche, right? So you might make candles, or you might make. I have a client; he does patriotic apparel, right? Different things like that. So it's more of a niche type thing. Whereas, it would be hard to like have a department store, like your own department store to kind of compete, with things like that. But this is an interesting fact that 48% of Americans shop while they're in their bed. That's what I was just talking about, right? You're on Amazon and it doesn't really matter where you are, if you need to purchase something. And, 43% of Americans has made a purchase while they were in bed. So
how about people shopping from their car at a stoplight?
Yeah, well, that's a little crazy. Yep, that's a little crazy. Well, I always find it interesting, especially with social media, that back when you used to take the subway, you'd be sitting on the subway and people would all be sitting there and no one would ever acknowledge or make eye contact with anyone else, but they'd be buried in their phone. And you see them doing this, and they're on Facebook, and then they're doing this, and it's like there's 30 people right around them that no one ever has a conversation, makes eye contact, says hello, nothing, but yet they're on that thing, with someone. I just find that amazing. So over a third of consumers compare prices while they're in the store. So they might compare going to a brick and mortar store and look at pricing, and then even go online and compare that pricing. Like I've done that myself. And you do that, a lot of times you'll do that when you're looking for a car, right? You might go online and look at pricing for a car and get an idea of what the MSRP of a car is, and then go into the dealer. And then you can negotiate from a, more of an advantageous point of view that you kind of know what the MSRP is. So people will use the brick and mortar and then do it. So great example like of this kind of thing is I ordered shoes from Skechers online, and they delivered and they were the wrong size. And I was like, shoot, I really want these shoes. Well, I was able to go to the Skechers store in Riverhead and just return them and, got a store credit, or I even think they ended up having my size there. So I was, able to use, their website to buy it, but then I also went into their store to return it. And, it's very easy. And even returning items on Amazon are very easy. Like I bought something, it was an inflatable Santa Claus, and it wasn't what I expected. And I was like, no, this isn't it. And I was able to just go to a UPS store and just hand them it, and they scan the barcode, and that's it. As soon as they scan that barcode, the money is credited back to you, and they wrap it, they pack it, they ship it back. Can't be any easier than that, right? So, like I said, 81% of consumers are researching a product. So that's where they're using the internet. They're really learning as much as they can and going on, and maybe they're reading product reviews, which are very big and very important. And they're really doing their homework before they'll purchase something. I was interested in a rowing machine. So I just started researching all the different things. And then there's websites comparing different models and which one is best, which one is this, Consumer Reports, Amazon reviews. I researched it every way to Sunday, and then I just decided, it's just too expensive. I'll just, join a gym and use their rowing machine. But, I spent a lot of time researching it. And so when it comes to e-commerce sites, 2/3 of your customers will not purchase due to a poor experience on your website. So if your website is clunky, it's hard to use, it's hard to navigate, the checkout process is difficult, all these things are an issue, then people aren't going to buy from you. Remember what I said about loyalty? It works both ways, right? So someone might be on a website going, oh, this is ridiculous. Like a lot of people don't want to set up an account to make a purchase. So you got to make sure you have a guest checkout so they can just do it easily. But if people run into a little bit of friction when they're trying to buy something, guess what they're going to do? They're going to leave and they'll go do another search or go to another website. Maybe they'll come to you, or maybe you're the problem. So, make sure you're aware of like how frictionless is that experience for someone to buy something. How many clicks is it going to take them? Is all the information there? Return policies, all the different things. 70% of shopping carts are abandoned. So people put something in a cart and then they'll abandon. They'll just leave it. They'll leave the site and go away. So it's really important that you implement, we call it remarketing strategy, whereas you can actually reach out to customers who put something in a cart and then left, so that we can do some retargeting things and stuff like that. And what retargeting is, in a sense, is we've all experienced retargeting or remarketing. You've gone to Amazon, you've researched a product. Let's say it's a camera, Canon camera, and you've researched it. You leave Amazon, you go along your happy way. The next day you're on newsday.com, and there's an ad for that camera. And then you leave there and then you go somewhere else, another website, there's an ad for that camera. Okay, that's not an accident. Okay, that's called retargeting or remarketing. What they do is basically what you do is they put a pixel and then it tracks you, and it tracks you through the internet, and they can display ads. And this kind of this abandoned cart thing kind of works the same way. And they could also send out emails. So if you're using an e-commerce provider like Shopify, they offer add-ons that you can like email people or follow up emails or remarket to these people. So there are all sorts of strategies to try to get that person to come back. And I've actually done it. I've actually put something in a cart, left, And then I got like a little reminder, and I said, okay, go back, I'll buy it. So cart abandonment, your shopping cart abandonment, it does increase 23% when you do require a customer to create an account prior to purchase, right? Like put your name, your address, your this, that, email, all these other things. Some things are much simpler, especially when you're buying with Amazon right now. It's a one-click thing. So once again, if you're creating some friction in the process, you're asking for too much information, people are just going to leave. So you got to keep it sleek. You got to keep it. Okay. So 32% more sales, or you generate 32% more sales online if you have a social media presence. So I'm going to talk about this towards the end, but this is what we call omni-channel marketing. And this is where you have consistent messaging across multiple platforms. So you might be on Facebook, and you might be on Instagram, and you might be on Pinterest, and you have it on your website, and different things like this on your shopping cart. Putting this kind of product information and promoting product benefits and doing things like this on social media helps to boost those sales, online sales. So it's important to have what we call an omni-channel, multi-channel approach to selling. So another thing, people get accustomed to free shipping a lot of times, right? So sometimes people will, they'll put a product in, and then they'll see what the shipping is. And they go, oh my God, the shipping costs almost as much as the product. Forget it. I'm out of here. I'll leave, right? So they'll abandon their cart. So sometimes that becomes an issue. People are getting accustomed, for free shipping and things like that. I signed up for this CVS, the drugstore. We signed up for some rewards thing, and we went shopping the other day because we got 25% off our purchase, right, in CVS. So we went in and we bought $500 worth of stuff. I mean, we had 2 baskets full of stuff, right? Sunscreen, you name it, we bought it. Vitamins. We saved $175 with that coupon, right? And then we signed up for this other thing for CVS. And now I have this thing where I get free shipping online for if I order off the CVS website. Now I get free shipping. So it's a great thing. It can't beat that convenience, And BJ's, right? So I belong to BJ's, right? I don't buy online. I don't buy on, although you can shop at BJ's. They'll pick and pack it for you, and you can go pick it up, which is great. But I don't like that. I want to pick my own apples. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to have someone picking apples for me, So, or cuts of meat or something. But what I use BJ's for is I load up all the online coupons on my card. So I log into my BJ's account, and then they have all the coupons. My favorite one, $7 off a box of Starbucks K-Cups. Right? I love that one. So I always look for that one. I load up digitally through their website, and then I go in the store, and then when I check out, they automatically deduct the coupons off. So there's a kind of a way where they're kind of using e-commerce with brick and mortar, right? They're kind of getting the best of both worlds there, right? I don't have to go and cut coupons out of their magazine and, kind of then scan them in, and then it says it didn't take, and, and all this other garbage. I just load them right up into my card in my spare time, right? While I'm in bed, while I'm watching TV, whatever it is, it's great. So you can load up the coupons, and then if I go into the store and shop, there it is. It's great thing to do. Home Depot, I bought something, didn't like it, bought it online, returned it to the store. Okay, making those seamless experiences, right? Okay, if you are making it very difficult for someone to return something, then they're not going to buy from you. That's it. I don't care what your reasoning is, but if you're going to make it difficult for people, like I didn't even know this. I saw a video. Sometimes on Amazon you get it. You get it in a plastic envelope with bubble wrap. You order something, or it's one of these things. I didn't know it, but if you want to send something back, you turn that inside out. and you use the same envelope, and then they have the sticker and you just put it right on there. I never knew that. So that's like pretty cool. You just use that same envelope, you turn it inside out, and it has a peel adhesive thing already in there that you can use it and reseal it back up. Got to make it easy, frictionless. That is the key. Consistency and frictionless. Okay, so here's the lack of free shipping and how it affects shoppers and purchasing. Okay, 28% of the people say most of the time it will affect their purchasing if they don't have free shipping. Okay, 17% said all of the time. Okay, only 9% said it never does. Okay, not everyone offers free shipping. Okay, I mean, it's just, it's not feasible, but it does make life a lot easier. So let's jump into social commerce. And what I'm talking about with social commerce is I'm talking about selling through social media, right? So the average order value from these social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, you can see those dollars amounts. So that's the average order value when they're referred from one of those platforms. So if you're referred from Facebook, it's the average order is like $55, an order. So these social media platforms, it becomes really important to optimize your social media. And you have to be careful with social media. I just did a workshop on social media the other day, but you can't just sell on your social media platforms, okay? You have to follow the 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule is it's 80% inform and educate and 20% sell, okay? So you can talk about your product benefits and how your products help people, okay? That informs and that educates people. You could maybe even have testimonials on how it's helped people. That's how you can use it social media. But if you're selling 80% of the time on social media, then you're just wasting your time because people are going to tune you out. Okay, they're not interested. Okay, social media is like a cocktail party, right? So when you go up to someone at a cocktail party and you say, "Hey, I want to sell you this watch. This is a great watch. It's $25. Do you want to buy it?" It's like, who are you? What? But if I say to you, "Hey, we start talking," and through that conversation, you say, I need a new watch, or then you can tell them about maybe some of the benefits of the watch and have more of a conversation than just talk at people. And that's where people make a big mistake on social media. Think of it like a cocktail party. If all you do is talk about yourself or talk about your products, then people are going to tune you out. But if you go up to person and you engage in a conversation and you inform them and you educate them and you provide them with information, you're going to have a conversation, right? Hey, I was thinking about you the other day. You happened to mention that you did that. I know someone that can help you. Or here's a book. I thought about you. That's how you should be using social media. Okay, so the first one is Facebook Marketplace, right? So you can sell things on Facebook Marketplace. And what I did is I told you I put links here. So like I have a link to like Facebook Marketplace, right? So we're going there right now. Okay, so this is Google. This is Facebook Marketplace. So you can go in here and look at products and buy products and do all sorts of different things like that. You can upload your products. I used this when I was selling my dad's house. I don't know why that's kind of skipped. There it goes. When I sold my dad's house, I put a bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And one of the things I was kind of thing is like, I had to meet the people in person, in this case. I didn't ship, because I was just selling the stuff out of the house. So, I had people come in the house, but you can ship it, you can do shipping and things like that. And you can see here how they have it all set up and things like that. And you can buy it and stuff like that. And, that's one way you can sell using Facebook, using their marketplace. So I just wanted to talk about like Target, how Target uses their Facebook. So Target, we're going to go to their Facebook page. This is Target's Facebook page. This isn't their e-commerce site. This is their Facebook page. So you go to Target and they've got their products on here and you can view their Target shop, right? There you go. So here's actually within Facebook, we have all of their shopping going on here. So it's Black History Month, so they have a collection and different things going on there. And you have all these different products and stuff like this within their Facebook shop, right? So here it is. Here's the product. Like now we're looking at a product level. I apologize. I picked underwear, but there you go. So then what you would do is you would click and it's going to take you right to Target. In this case, you're not doing the transaction on Facebook, but you're doing it here on the Target website. And things like Shopify have integrations where you can sync up your Shopify e-commerce website with a Facebook store or an Instagram. So if you have inventory and different, you can sync up the stores, right? Because one of the big challenges would be is this is on Facebook, but they ended up discontinuing it here, right? So now how do you keep track of all this stuff? Well, there's integrations. There's what we call APIs, applications that you can use to do that. So so Target does a very good job with this omni-channel approach, right? That you can shop on their Facebook page. I'm sure you can do Instagram. Guaranteed you could do Pinterest, right? I'm sure Target has a Pinterest, page or something like as well that you could look at. So Instagram is one of those things where you can do the whole transaction right within the Instagram app. So it's pretty cool. So on your mobile device, you can tap on the shopping app, and it allows you to make purchases directly in what we call in-app, on the app. So what I did is I included a link on how you can get verified to sell on Instagram if you're interested in selling on Instagram. Okay, that's there. And here's just a progression of like how an Instagram checkout would work. Right, you see a post, right, and then within there's a link, and you click on that link, and it brings you to a product detail page, right, about this watch. And then when you click on checkout on Instagram, it brings you to a checkout page. So pretty cool. Pretty cool feature. Okay, so you don't need to have a big e-commerce website to sell products. You have options. You have like this social commerce where you could post a couple things on Facebook or Instagram or even Pinterest, right? You don't have to use like a GoToIt. I just included a video about Instagram checkout. We're not going to watch it. It's 17 minutes. It's there for your own viewing pleasure. So I'm just going to skip. And you have TikTok. So what makes TikTok very appealing is people on average spend 68 minutes a day on TikTok, over an hour on this app, right? Over an hour of doing this, looking at different things. And I told you that's the one I'm on personally. And I saw an ad on TikTok. And the reason why this ad was served to me is because I'm a diabetic, so I follow a lot of diabetic nutritionists TikToks, right? Diets, vitamins, and I follow all these videos. So guess what? They served me up ads for this product called Catalina Crunch. So Catalina Crunch is this like low carb keto cereal. Like really, really low carb stuff. And they served me up an ad, for it. And guess what I did? I clicked on it and I bought the product right then and there. Bought it right there. So I wasn't thinking about low carb cereal, right? It wasn't like when I was looking to buy the rowing machine where I was doing a lot of research. I was looking at TikToks and all of a sudden someone said, hey, here's some cereal. I'm like, yes, I'll buy it. Thank you. Yeah. Boom, done. So that's pretty interesting on how you can leverage TikTok. And once again, I put a link on this slide here on how you can sell on TikTok. There's, instructions and things you can do. The great thing about it is, and with your social media, is your ability to target audiences, right? You want to target the right audience, okay? They're not selling Catalina Crunch cereal to the typical Gen Zer who's on TikTok, who's worried about his weight and worried about his blood sugar, right? But they knew me. They got to me, okay, because of the videos I watch. So let me just continue here. So I included a video on selling on TikTok. This is a good video. I'm not going to play it now, but very entertaining. The key to what you can do with TikTok is on your profile page with TikTok. You can only add so many links. Like you can link to your YouTube channel, you can link to your website. I think it's 2 links. You can do 2 links through your profile in TikTok. But through another app, you can add multiple links. So if you want to put a link to something you're selling, okay, you can add that link right on your profile page, right? It's a pretty cool thing. And we'll cover that in the next workshop, which is TikTok. We'll go into that in more detail. Let me skip that. Okay, so Pinterest. Ronnie had talked about Pinterest. So Pinterest is kind of an interesting thing. Like Pinterest is a little bit different than other social media platforms, whereas it has like this cumulative effect. Like you create these boards, which are topics or interests, right? Recipes, whatever. And then as you're browsing through Pinterest and you see other posts, you pin them, right? You pin them, and that adds it to your board, right? So you go through and you build these boards out. You develop these boards. So you start out today, you might have 2 pins, and maybe you only have 1 board. But then over time, you add another board because you say, I want a board about exercise and nutrition, or I want another board about walking or nature or whatever it is. Like what I use it for my business, Pinterest, is I put up my work. I have boards for logo design. I have boards for website design, and you can look at my samples of my work. But then I also have things that are of interest to me. Okay. So for example, we're on Long Island. So I have a board that has posts about Long Island and all the beautiful things on Long Island, because some of my clients are outside of New York. So I like to share that. But I also have fun boards. I have a board that I call Badvertising, B-A-D, Badvertising. And that board, I have all sorts of old ads about things like 4 out of 5 doctors recommend unfiltered cigarettes, or, just fun things. You know what I mean? Like I call that Badvertising. So I created a board, and these are all things of interest. So with Pinterest, you build it out. Whereas other social medias, like you post something, then it kind of disappears, right? It goes into the feed. And with Twitter, you lose it really quick, right? The feed just disappears. But with Pinterest, you're kind of building out things over time. So you can start to put products and things like that. So a lot of people are just logging in to Pinterest just to look for things, maybe design ideas, like home goods. Like I'm sighing a little bit, but all those signs, home sweet home, home is where the heart is, and like all these things, people like, they're all over their house. We have them in our house too, we have them here too, but people just put them everywhere. It's like things about their dog, and they have all these signs and things like that. So people will go on and look at that, and they'll go on to Pinterest and they'll research products, and Shopify actually makes a connection with Pinterest as well. But people will go on there and look for it, and then they'll use Pinterest to plan a purchase or research products and things like that. So I have a link here. I don't know if it's going to work. You guys can't see that. Are you still seeing that presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Pinners, those are people that see something on Pinterest and they pin it and put it to their board. Okay. The click-through rate to learn more about a product is much higher. Well, not much higher, but significantly higher on Pinterest. So when people pin something and then they want to click through to a website, Pinterest is a big driver to e-commerce websites, believe it or not. It is one of the top social media drivers to an e-commerce site. So people are looking around, they're looking at products, they're looking at home decorating tips, right? So they're looking at home decorating tips, and then all of a sudden they see these shelves in Pottery Barn. So they click on it, and boom, then they go to Pottery Barn and they buy the shelves, right? So it's pretty cool. Okay. Nextdoor, a little bit out of the box thing. Nextdoor app is that local neighborhood app where you can list things locally, relevant things. I have a lawnmower, and things like that. It's really more for one-off things. If you're trying to sell, you have a business, you're trying to sell things. Nextdoor might not be the right way to approach it. It's probably more for, these kind of one-off things that you're trying to sell through e-commerce. And I included a link there to sign up for Nextdoor app. So Nextdoor is an interesting, localized, hyper-local kind of marketing tool for social media. So if you're looking to reach home buyers in a certain zip code, for example, let's say you sell propane gas or you're an exterminator. Okay, Nextdoor is a really, really good social media app. All right, so we talked about social commerce, selling on social media platforms or using social media in an omni-channel approach to direct them to your e-commerce site. There's another thing called marketplace selling. Okay, so when we talk about marketplace selling, we're really talking about Amazon, right? Amazon doesn't, well, they do, but Amazon just doesn't sell products they manufacture, right? That's a minuscule part of what they do, right? They created a marketplace where everyone can sell their stuff, right? Everyone can sell their products on Amazon. And I have a client that's selling on Amazon right now, vitamins, and they're selling on Walmart, okay? And they called me and they said, we've got to get away from Amazon because we feel like they've got us, like they've got us over a barrel. And they won't share customer data with us. And we have very little data from the customers itself. And pricing, we have to be enormously competitive with pricing. And if we want to become a best buy or preferred, Amazon preferred product, we got to really lower prices and everything. I said, all right, okay, so you're not happy with Amazon because you feel like that's over a barrel. I said, what percentage of your online sales are coming from Amazon? And he thought about it and he said 90%. I said, well, you got a new partner. It's like the mob, right? Okay, you're in bed with the mob, so you need them now, okay? And you got to play by their rules. And what you got to do is you got to start be maybe a little bit more creative, because it's very easy to compare products on Amazon, right? Super, super easy to compare a product. But if you bundle the product with another product, now it becomes a little bit harder to compare, right? So if you bundle two products together. So I did this for I did e-commerce for an automotive chain of automotive stores. And he said, look, I'm getting killed here. Like lock de-icer. Like I can't be competitive with that price. I said, well, let's build a whole package of car winterization package where we put in jumper cables, lock de-icer, ice scraper, and we put in like 5 items and then we attach the price to it. Very difficult to compare that, right? And they can order all the things they need to winterize their car and one's right there. It's one package, one SKU, one checkout. So one of the things you can do with Amazon is, like you said, maybe you can bundle it and be a little bit more creative in bundling your package. But Amazon has become like the necessary evil, right? 400 products a minute, So, you have to pay generally, I think it's about $40 a month to be on Amazon. And then I think they take a percentage. They will stock your product and then they could fulfill it, or it could come from you, right? And that's why sometimes you'll see things when you order 3 things from Amazon. Sometimes they'll come in 3 different packages, right? Or sometimes they'll all come in the same box, right? Sometimes it will come the next day and sometimes it takes 2 weeks, right? Generally speaking, the 2-week one is probably someone fulfilling the order themselves. So Amazon is the big player, but they are recognizing the fact that they need to be a little bit more friendly to these merchants and shops, and they are starting to share data and allowing you to email market to your customers through that Amazon database. So they're starting to loosen it up. You have to meet certain thresholds, but they are starting to offer that. Okay, so you got Amazon, right? We all know about Amazon. Okay, Google. Okay, the Google marketplace. Okay, retailers can have their products featured in a Google search result. After Amazon, it's the second most popular platform. I included a link with instructions on how you can sell on Google. And then these are the kind of 3 things that Google offers. A simple free discovery of products. You can create paid ads. So if someone's doing a keyword search, you can create a paid ad, and you can also post on their own marketplace. Okay. Another one is eBay. We got, all sorts of things going on eBay, 1.3 billion users. And then now I'm going to kind of get into some of these more obscure e-commerce platforms. Handshake. Okay. Handshake is owned by Spotify. It's a wholesale marketplace for one-of-a-kind brands. Okay. It's an interesting thing. So you can deal in the wholesaler side of things. It was set up by Shopify specifically for the wholesale market. Okay. And you can set up things in there and deal as a wholesaler. This other one was kind of cool, Bonanza. Okay, you can list for free, and then you don't have to pay like a transaction fee until you sell. So you can go post the products and post it up there for free, and then you don't have to pay until you sell on there. More of a homespun type thing, kind of like an Etsy kind of thing, kind of products. And then there's Etsy, right? So you got over 60 million buyers on Etsy. I think they charge 20 cents per item listing fee, and then a 5% transaction fee when you post on Etsy. And mostly that's more of a handcrafted, one-of-a-kind, vintage kind of items for Etsy. I know Ronnie is familiar with Etsy, and certain niche and things like that. So then there's Walmart Marketplace. Okay, you can sell your products on Walmart Marketplace. Believe it or not, my vitamin guy is doing that. You can actually have your products. And this is a video about the Walmart Marketplace. I don't want to play it right now. You guys can play it if you want to learn more about the Walmart Marketplace to sell your products. Looks like it wants to start anyway, but I'm going to just go. There's another thing called Channel Engine, where you can integrate your products with all these major e-commerce things like Shopify and Woocommerce and these other ones. So you can set up these integrations to have your products show up in all of these platforms. It's a pretty cool thing. Okay. All right. So this is the video, the review. So it is 11 minutes. So I think what I'm going to do is not play it right now in the interest of time in case we have questions. But here's the takeaway. This is comparing the major players in e-commerce. Okay, WooCommerce, Shopify, Amazon is a marketplace, eBay is a marketplace, Etsy is a marketplace. I'm talking about platforms where you can set up an e-commerce store of your own, a self-contained store, right? And that would be Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Magento. These are places where you can sign up for a subscription. Wix, Squarespace, they do it not very well. And that's part of this thing. So the key takeaway is which is the right platform for you. So if you only have a couple of products and a very limited budget, then you probably could do something on a Squarespace or a Wix and build the site yourself. Okay. If you are going to run a store and you're going to have shipping and logistics and you want to integrate it in a omni-channel approach, then you need to use Shopify. Okay. WooCommerce is a WordPress plugin. The advantage of that is the plugin is free, but you do have to pay for hosting because you need to have a website. So that becomes a bit of an issue. So my recommendation is if you're going to have a serious store, you want to use Shopify. Okay. That would be my recommendation. You have to pay. There's a monthly fee, but if you're selling product, it's well worth it. And it's all self-contained. It's easy to use. It's easy to upload products. There's inventory management, and those add-ons to integrate with social media and things like that are very important. So these are just the components of an e-commerce website. Okay, so you have what's called the web page builder. That's where you can create your store, and you don't have to know like how to use coding and do coding. It's generally you click and drag and drop and bring things in, and it's very easy to build a page or set up a product. So they have what's called a visual builder. Most of them have some sort of inventory management so that you can put in inventory so that if, God forbid, you sell out, right, the product will come off your website. Okay, then you have your payment gateways, right? Those are your credit card processing. Like, how do you get people to pay? All right, and there are major players out there. So PayPal, Square, Stripe, are the big ones, right? These are all integrate with like a Shopify or a Wix or a WordPress website. And generally authorized.net is the credit card processor itself. That's more of just almost like a banking kind of thing. But PayPal now, I use PayPal all the time, and it's very easy. And I'm going to show you that real quick, that you can create a PayPal button in PayPal once you have an account, and then you can go in and add that button to a website. Got to have it. And then we talked about shipping tools, right? So there are third-party tools out there, but most of these, like a Shopify and Woocommerce and some of these other big commerce, they have integrated shipping systems, and you can price it out a couple of ways. You could price it out by weight and size, right? How much shipping costs. So you would have to enter the dimensions and the weight of a product for each product, or you could have a flat shipping rate you could put in as well. So you need to, make sure that, you're also marketing this and getting it out and getting the word out so that you can send traffic to your stores. And that's where you're using search engines and social media and different things like that to generate traffic. Just because you build a store doesn't mean anyone's coming, right? So I'm going to give you some best practices, some useful tips. So you need to compete for your market, right? You have to understand what your market is. What's your universe, right? Who is it you're trying to reach? Logistically, can you reach everyone in the United States? Are you going to be able to do that? Do you have the budget? Because you're going to need to promote this somehow. So what's your market? Is it Nassau, Suffolk? Is it adults, 45 to 65 years old in Nassau and Suffolk County who own a home? Like, you need to understand who that buyer persona is and compete in your marketplace. Don't be all things to all people. That if you're building, if you're selling, a certain kind of niche item, make sure that you understand it and you're targeting the right people. You got to invest in photography. Okay. The iPhones and the Androids, the cameras that are on there are very good, and you can take pictures, but you have to make sure that they're lit properly. So if you have little products and you sell a bunch of them, they make these little light boxes, okay, with a light bar in it and a little tripod for your phone. I bought one because I shoot a lot, and it has a backdrop in it. It's only about like this big, and you put the product in there and it's lit, and you take a picture and it looks professional. And it's on a nice backdrop. It looks great. Mm-hmm. But if you really have higher end stuff, like you look at realtors now, when they're selling homes online, they pay a professional videographer, they pay a professional photographer to go in and light a house, get the proper angle, the proper lighting, move things around, stage it. Like, you got to invest in this stuff. You got to invest. Okay. You got to make sure you're doing up and cross selling, that when you present a product, you want to say, you may also be interested in this product. So Amazon does it all the time, right? It's a way for you to increase your average cart, sale, right? While you're at it, you're buying this, why don't you buy this? This goes with it, and so you have this cross sell. And you always want to have a call to action, right? You got to tell the visitor exactly what to do. Don't be nebulous. It's like, buy now, add promo code, download this. Be very specific with your calls to actions. You want to optimize for mobile, right? M-commerce, I'm going to call it. Okay, M-commerce is doubling between 2019 and 2025. The amount of commerce happening on a mobile device will double in this 6-year period of time. Always include FAQs. Okay, people want to understand what's your return policy, what's your shipping policy, customer service. Do you have a phone number? Can I call you? Right? Chatbot on your thing. People have questions sometimes, and they want to, some questions. So frequently asked questions of, how does the product work? Put explainer videos up there, right? Put all this up there. Search engines also read these FAQs and they display these FAQs. So it's important. And here you go, Leslie. Add trust badges and reviews, right? To boost confidence, that if you see the little check mark, or you see Google reviews or Facebook reviews and different things like that, really important. And now we're kind of summarizing here, where I talked about this a couple of times, the omni-channel approach. Multiple channels. And what do I mean by a channel? Okay, Facebook is a channel. Okay, Your Shopify website is a channel. Okay. Your regular website is a channel. Okay. These are just platforms, areas where people go. Okay. So you want to be consistent and provide a unified customer experience. Okay. Consistency is so important. Okay. So important. Okay. So you want to have this strategy because customers are going to start searching on one channel and they're going to move to another. So this is part of the progression. And this is where I spoke about first and last touch attribution. Okay. They might have seen something on Facebook and then went to Amazon or went to your website or, whatever. And you say, oh, wait, who do we credit with this sale? And many times it's not just one source. So it becomes very important to understand where are people coming from when they click, right? So you got to be consistent. All right. So let's just, how do we measure KPIs, key performance indicators? So you need this to best to help you how to focus your efforts because you want to change and evolve. If you see certain products are resonating and different things like that, and people are spending more time on a certain page, you want to be able to make adjustments to reflect that. If you have products that aren't selling, why aren't they selling? You need to look at this. So first thing is online visibility. And this is where that Omni channel comes in. Okay. You need to, have your products appear on search engines and other retailer marketplace websites. So you have to make sure that your site is visible. You also want to know what your conversion rate is. What's the percentage of people that go to a product page become a customer, right? That's like how many people look at a product and then become a customer. What's the percentage? It's probably very low, but you need to know. Bounce rate. So bounce rate is the percentage of visitors who come to your website and only visit one page. So they don't click, they go to one page. So if you have a very high bounce rate, okay, and they go to your site, there's something wrong. You didn't meet their expectation for whatever reason. Leslie didn't like the look of the site. She didn't think it was trustworthy. Ronnie didn't like that, it was not, the navigation wasn't, easy to follow or.
How about grammar? They can't write.
They cannot write. This looks like it's a foreign website, from the grammar, you can tell this. It took a long time to load. It's a slow website. The photos look amateurish. So that all contributes to bounce rate. So then you have your average order value. How much on average is a checkout, is a sale, right? So we want to know that so that you can try to bump that up by offering add-ons, right? You may also like, different things. Maybe offering a free shipping. Maybe it's offering a promo code on your next purchase. One of the things we did with my automotive retailer guy is when they bought in the store, okay, we gave them a coupon to shop online. And then when they shopped online, we put a coupon for the store in the box. So we were always trying to cross-pollinate, right? So we want to worry about that cart abandonment. We got to make sure we know what's going on. What are the obstacles? Why is this happening, right? We look at on-site traffic. Where are they coming from? Are they coming from a search? Are they coming from advertising? Are they coming from social media? Are they coming from an email campaign? You need to know. And that is the presentation.